So I will present you the case studies that I have collected for this project. So these are the guidelines which you can use when you design your product service system to make it more sustainable. The first guideline is complement the DA hardware offer with lifecycle services. This one is related to product-oriented S.PSS. So the company who provide the product, which the customer purchase, company also provides, that is included in the purchase of the product, some services such as installation, repairing, upgrading, and maintenance. Let's look at some examples. The cases here are related to distributed economies. So this is Arduino. I think everybody knows Arduino. Anyone who doesn't know Arduino? All right. So Arduino is the board to create projects for electronic devices such as robots and 3D printers, whatever you can imagine. It's an open source platform which everything open to everyone. This is sold to the user. You buy this board, and the company provides you the platform for developing software, and there are also many example projects which are also open, so you can take them and you can modify them, you can create your own project. So it's an open platform and is a service provided together with the sold product. So this one was related to complement the DA hardware offer with support services for the design and or installation of its components. And Arduino not only has board, they have a lot of sensors and a lot of software and other things which are open to design and create your own project. Let's look at this one. This is offered by Shopbot. It's a company who produce CNC routers. CNC routers, if you don't know, it's a tool to also similar to 3D printing, but it's create things by cutting them. Similar to also laser cutting, but is more mechanical. So they produce these tools and they to the user, to the customers who buy these CNC routers, they offer them a platform which is called 100K garages. In this platform, the users can sign up as fabbers, and any customer, they can go to this website and look at the nearby fabbers and request them to design and produce something for them. So this is offered from the producer of the CNC routers. And it is related to the sub-guideline that is complement the DA hardware offer with support services to enable customer to either design and produce with their DA hardware, share their DA hardware, self-provide their production. So in this case, the example I gave you was they enable them to share their DA hardware and also to do business and to find customers. So the second guideline is related to user-oriented S.PSS, offer ownerless DA systems as enabling platform. In this one, as you know, the customer doesn't purchase the product, the hardware, but they pay for what they use. And in this case, the provider or the producer complements this offer with training and information services to enable the customer to maintain, repair, or install, or do things. So these are to enable the customer. If you look at some examples here, Tech Shop is a workshop space that are open to anyone. Is based on pay-per-period subscription, so you pay like a monthly fee, and you can use any tool here to do prototyping and produce your whatever you want to do. It's in the USA, and they have more than 10 places. So if you look at this, it's related to distributed production. Uh, it's for anyone who wants to do projects. They can just pay $100 per month, and they have access to, according to the website, they have access to $1 million worth of advanced machines and tools. So when you think of this, it's democratizing this kind of advanced tools, the access of this kind of advanced tools for anyone. And this was related to the sub-guideline to the provider complements and owners offer of the DA system with training information services to enable the customer to maintain, repair one or more the hardware. So in this case, the tech shop also offers training and education for the users to use the tools they have and to maintain them. Here is the same example, and they also offer training services to enable the customer to use optimization. So we have the same case here. Kitchen Town is similar, but it's a kitchen space. It's opening. So it's a space for anyone who wants to produce food, but it's more for businesses. They have professional grade facilities there, and they provide services, incubation services. They also help them to start up their business. So it's not only hardware, but it's also services offered with the hardware to help them to start business. And it's related to here the sub-guideline. The provider complements the ownerless offer of the system with services to enable customers to design, produce with their hardware, and so on. The third guideline is related to result-oriented S.PSS, offer ownerless DA systems with full services. In this one, the customer pay for the final result that they get out of the S.PSS that is offered. This is a 3D printing company. They offer these commercial 3D printers as a leasing. So you can rent these printers. Since this is an expensive 3D printer, but anyone can rent this and start their business. When you think of this, someone who has a business idea and wants to produce and something and do business, since this doesn't have a purchase cost, they can still have access to this 3D printer and pay once they start their business and once they start making profit. And this was related to the criteria providers complements and ownerless offer of DA system with support services to install one or more DA hardware and its components. So because when they offer here this 3D printer for rent, they also offer services to, for example, install this in the space, and they also provide various other services such as operation, in-house support, education, project implementation, and consulting. So when they support this kind of services, they are more result-oriented. If you look at the difference from the second one, which was user-oriented, you see that here they are providing training and information to enable the customer to do these services. In this result-oriented one, they are offering services that are more what we call full services. Let's look at this one. This is a model for computers. You get this computer from a provider and you pay for the resources you use in the computer. So it's not even time-based or period-based, but it's the terminology, they call it the pay-per-performance levels utilized. So for example, let's say you are using AutoCAD and you are taking a render of some model and you are using maybe more from the graphic card, and then you are paying according to that, maybe you are paying more than if you were just browsing the website. When you look at this example, in terms of distributed economies, this can be used by designers to design something or software developers to develop some software. And let's look at the criteria it was related to here. Providers complements an ownerless offer of the DA system with support services to upgrade one or more DA hardware or its components. So in this case, since you don't own the computer, the provider of the computer is responsible for the upgrade and so on. Is everything clear? Anything you don't understand, you can ask. The first guideline is optimized stakeholders configuration. So here it is related to actors and the interactions between the actors. The first one is, let's look at it, offer the S.PSS to the final user to improve the quality of life. So this is for the home user, is business to customer. Pick Your Own is a website which has information about the nearby farmers, which you can go and collect the products from these farms. And it has also information for the community kitchen spaces around you, which you can go there and use this kitchen to produce something, some product. For example, here we can think of jam. You can go to a nearby farmer and collect the products and go to this kitchen, and maybe you don't have kitchen in your house, or maybe you have small kitchen, or they have other more maybe tools that you don't have. So you can go to this place and produce your products there. So here it is, in that sense, it's decentralized because you are going to this space nearby your house. You are not producing in your house, but you are producing in a near place. And this was, yes, for the home user. And the second one is for the business, offer S.PSS to an entrepreneur to enable a business, startup, or empower business. This case I just mentioned you is the 3D printer producer offering the 3D printer. When you look at this guideline that it is related to, this can, as I said, enable someone maybe who cannot afford to buy this printer to start a business with this printer through this service. This one I will also mention, even there is no case. Optimize stakeholder partnership with vertical integration by combining all complementary components of one single DA. So in the case of the distributed renewable energy, it can be that in the offer there are components like micro generator, the storage, the inverter. So it's maybe there are more than one producer make a partnership and offer these components within the same S.PSS. But it's called vertical integration because it's in the same DA type. As in the example, all components are in the DRA. And the next one is optimize stakeholder partnership with horizontal integration. So in this case, different from the previous one, it's partnership between stakeholders that and the final offer is consists of more than one DA type. So if you look at an example, okay, sorry. This one I just mentioned you. When you know this one is the producer of the CNC router, and they have a platform where they offer, together with the owners of these routers, they offer to the final user services for design and production. So for the final user who will go to from this website, find someone nearby who has this router, and they will also have a service to design. So is, when you think of it, is a partnership between designers and also the producer of this CNC router, and they offer a service in combining this design and production. This one is make the DA hardware manufacturer offer the S.PSS either alone or in a joint venture with the other stakeholder. This is because when the producer of the hardware offer the services is more sustainable, because when they offer this, they are also interested in making their product more sustainable, as Professor Carlo mentioned. This one. So this is a case of from General Electronics. It's a micro factory where they have like some workshops in the States, maybe one or two workshop space. The users of General Electronics can go there and prototype and produce their ideas in a small scale. If it's successful, and maybe the General Electronics produce this in higher scale, and they compensate these designers. When you look at this, this is related to distributed design and distributed production. For production is decentralized. Is distributed design because they also have a platform website. Anyone can also go there and just design something collaboratively. There are some projects, and maybe you have an idea, you can go to the website, create your project, and maybe somewhere in another country can see this and contribute to that idea as well. So is in that sense is a distributed design, and is decentralized production because they have a local facility for the nearby users who wants to go there and use the space to produce and design something. And this is offered by the General Electronics. And so when you think of it, they also use their own hardware here, maybe not all, but so they will also be interested in making this space more efficient and more durable and more sustainable. The fifth guideline is related to payment. Delink payments from hardware purchases and resource consumption. Here we have different payment modalities like pay per period, pay per time, pay per use, hybrid of maybe more of them. If you look at some examples quickly here. In this one, for example, you pay monthly, and you can use all these facilities no matter how much you want to use. Maybe you can use the most expensive ones every day, so you pay still a monthly price. This is pay per period. This is a 3D printing service that is offered from MakerBot. That's also the producer of 3D printer, and they offer this service in their stores where they sell the printers. So in that sense, it's they have more than one. So they have many stores, and it's a decentralized because local people in the nearby that store can go there and print something. And they you pay for for the time of the printing. When you go there with your file, you give them your file, and they print and they give you the result. And then you pay for the time that the 3D printing of your file took. So it's pay per time. In the hybrid payment, this is an example. Yeah, I mentioned this already. For Kitchen Town, it was a kitchen space. In this example, in this case, the customers have a monthly payment, plus they pay for the time they use. So you pay, let's say, maybe it's written here, $150 monthly, but plus you pay $30 per hour. So it's a hybrid of both. Apply for additional financial support from public administrations. In the example I gave you, this pick your own. Usually these are in the States, in this website, and usually these community kitchens are supported by the government or by the local administrations. So the local people usually pay less. In these cases, I look at many of them. Is very common because they are also interested in the local production and to support the farmers and this kind of local production. The last guideline is optimizing DA structure. It's a little bit complex. These are the standalone mini network, decentralized DA stations, and decentralized economy systems to locally support DA production through a mini network. And if you look at some examples, so these are related to the flow of the production, how the network of flow of production somehow. So this case I told you about 3D printing would be standalone, and it's especially in isolated areas is more relevant because, for example, you are in the mountain, you want to do some project there, and there is no another possibility around you. So this kind of service can make sense as a standalone in this kind of case. Decentralized DA stations. This was, for example, the community space, community kitchens nearby your place. They are decentralized. Offer decentralized economy systems to locally support DA production throughout a mini network for homes and businesses. 3D Hubs is a service, online service for anyone who has 3D printer. Also you, if you have a 3D printer in your house, you can sign up and you can offer services to other to use your 3D printer, because maybe you will use your 3D printer not all the time. You will use once a week, or so you can make maybe business with the time that you don't use your 3D printer. And for me as a maybe user, I can go to this website and look at the nearest one, and look, I can see what kind of printer you are offering, and I can maybe for the kind of production I want to do, I can choose the one that is near me and send the file to the website to you, and then you can print this for me and send it to me. So it's a kind of system where it is decentralized, but it's not that I am going there and using your 3D printer, but it's you are printing it, producing it for me. I am sending you, and then you are sending the production to me. The last one, offer DA system with connection to worldwide network or main grid in the case of energy, enabling homes, small businesses, and communities for selling, purchasing of production, or for enabling shared use of the DA hardware. Pinshape is a platform where designers put their design and can sell it to anyone. So it's oriented towards, for the final user, towards users who has 3D printers at home, for home users. maybe I bought a 3D printer and I don't know how to design 3D models very well, or maybe I know, but still I want to. I mean, I cannot design everything myself. So I go to this website and find some uh, whatever I want to print, and I can pay to the designers to design them and then print it in my house. It's about production of hardware. It's better that when they are local, but when it's about the information, it doesn't mean it's more sustainable when it is local. Maybe it's better when production of information is not local. So this is that kind of structure. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheng. Um, so of course, we will maybe I don't know. When I was listening to him and what I noticed is that most of these came from the U.S. Did you? And he said, but we are speaking about low-income context. So you could say, well, in U.S. there are lots of low-income countries. There are, the gap between poor. When I'm speaking about context, I'm not speaking about countries. But of course, that is one of the richest countries in the world. And but somehow, the entrepreneurial activities and this they have there is very strong innovation and willing, and so there is a kind of. But that doesn't mean that if that is applied there, it couldn't be applied otherwhere. So we didn't find really so many examples in other places, but few, but not that many. But this doesn't mean that it's not interesting. The reason why this is happening even there is because some entrepreneurs don't have the money to start an investment, and this could be the same reason for other places and other countries. Of course, it has to be designed in a different way, and maybe offer in a different way or something. That has to be understood. But the economic reason at the basis is actually the same. And one other thing that, of course, here now going through the guidelines here could be a bit hard to distinguish and so on. But when you will look at them while brainstorming and think that will help you to remember what kind of services I may think in relation to my own services. So you will declinate. Then about the stakeholder configuration, okay, but how many type of DA system I can take inside when I'm designing the heating system here, or what is the most proper in terms of vertical integration. Should I take all those related to the production of vegetables, from the production of seeds to the end production of the food or whatever, and so it's there are anyhow ways in which we hope that your idea generation will be somehow taken into one direction and into the other. Not to forget that you may get some idea from different point of view, when it's not that far obvious that something could be thought, because it's really out of the business as usual, even though we can see already some example over here. And another observation that we discussed with Cheng the other day was that, in fact, you remember the distinction between use-oriented and result-oriented. Use-oriented is car sharing. I'm using the car that is not my own car, okay? Result-oriented, I'm going on a taxi. So it's not my own, but someone is taking me. I'm not driving that, so it's really result. when we are speaking about distributed economy, somehow the user is many times even the producer. Okay, so anyhow they are most of them they are anyhow enabling platform to some level, but we can distinguish, and that what we were working on. That some are really full service in the sense that they offer even the mind, so you don't care about the maintenance, the reparation, the upgrading, and the okay, you are operating on your 3D printer, but all the rest, so in that sense is enabling, but all the rest is full services, full services. User-oriented, so the enabling in this case would be when you are enabled even to perform some activity in terms of uninstalling it, or I'm designing it to reconfigure solar panel to fit exactly on my roof, or I'm taking care about the maintenance, me as a user. So I'm trained and supported in these activities. So the enabling is that really you are enabled to do everything, so that even upgrading, doing, from maybe producing, and some not only using. Okay, so here is the difference between the enabling and final results. Final result, they are doing everything. So maintenance, upgrading, whatever, all the life cycle services are taken care from them. Okay. On the other case, they are supporting you in doing this. So you are enabled even in preparing, upgrading, and doing this kind of things. And this is quite peculiar when you look at the A system compared to the other. It is peculiar to this kind of thing. So this is why the distinction we made, and you will see better when we will be working on that. But that could be interesting because, even in low income context, of course, even though you are paying per use, but they are offering the maintenance and the repairing and whatever, what you pay per use is higher if they are doing that. Okay, because they have to pay someone to do this and so on. If the service is just training and supporting, and you are yourself doing, the cost of pay per use will be lower because there will be just an instruction to you and some information and some support, not really a technician coming there to work. And so it depends on different contexts, but maybe for very low income context, the fact of, paying less for use and then working in terms of repairing and doing this kind of things could be. That means that on the level of designing the hardware part, you have to design this in a way that it could be repaired, maintained, and even by the final user, though supported and so on. Okay. But these are all things that we are really they are a bit new even for us, and while designing together with you, they will come. As I said to you, I really want to discuss with you about those things, because something is very clear. Some other are something that are there in our mind, but need to be seen much better. So I really count on you. This is not captatio benevolenza, not just to have it on my side. It's really the truth, and I count really on your design capability and and the use of your mind. Okay, so that was just to conclude this part. I think we have a break still, and then Elisa is going to tell you about sustainable energy for all and some other cases and some experience we had in Africa.